Yeah.
Welcome back to Networking with Nathaniel. This is episode 25. I've been doing this almost a quarter. No, it's a quarter of 100 right now, if you can do math like I can off the top of my head. I'm here with Lance Riggen. Oh, did I say that right?
Yeah. Lance
Yeah,
Riggen. That's
Lance Riggen.
right.
It's easy enough. I just,
Thank you.
yeah. Lance is a father, a husband, father of two, and a grandfather at this point, which, yeah, look at him. He's a young buck. So he got started early, but he's a
hmm
Gator member, Gator since October of 2022, I think you said, and that
hmm
just wasn't enough for him. He got the bug bit him, and he decided to take the plunge into sub two about a month later, and he hasn't looked back from what I've seen of him. He's very active in the community, loves networking with people. I'm glad to have you on, man. How are you doing today? It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Nathaniel. It's amazing to be here, man, and it's been an amazing journey, bro.
Yeah.
And so, do you prefer Nathaniel or Nate or Nathan or what do you?
I go by it all.
Okay,
Nathaniel's like my professional name, but
got it.
you
I
can
just
call
want to.
me
I
Hay
always
if you
ask
want.
people,
Yeah. Yeah.
when it's one of those names where you can have five different names,
Yeah.
basically. All
I
right, cool.
graduated back to Nathaniel. I started as that. My parents actually call me Nathan, oddly enough, and my grandparents. And then I did Nate for a long time, your rebellious youth. And then
Yeah.
I just like, you know what? They call me Nathaniel, and it means gift from God. So like,
Nice. I
let's do
love
that.
that.
Let's be
Yeah,
Nathaniel, the
I
the
love
one
it,
that we
man.
were blessed. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I like to start these out just kind of open and see where the conversation takes us. Like
hmm
I know very little about you at this point as far as what you've got going on. So, like, what keeps you kind of busy on a day-to-day basis besides the kids and the wife and the grandkid?
Yeah, man. So I do a ton of what we're doing right now. Network, network, network. I mean, I emphasize that like at nauseum, right? And Pace actually had me do one of the trainings on the 12 days of Christmas, which I was super honored and blessed to do, man. I was completely shocked by it. I got a call from Carly an hour before, or it was an hour before this other training, and then I was asked to do that, but it was a very humbling experience. So I love to give back to the community, man. That's my
Yeah.
biggest thing. I get on Zooms every day and I try and help new investors, young investors who have just have that W2 mindset. I try and help them get on the right path. And I show them, teach them how to network with intention and how to, foster relationships and build rapport with people. And I talk a lot about mindset, man, because a lot of people don't understand what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. I've owned multiple businesses throughout my, career being an entrepreneur, and so yeah, I've got some things to say, and I love to just help people, man. So
Yeah.
that's really what attracted me to Pace Morby, the Sub Two community, the Gator community was that culture that he had built is building, right? Is it was very attractive to me. And a lot of people go, oh man, it's not too good to be true. But I've been in other mentorships and I've seen people like him. But this was like for me, it was the right time, man, and it was just perfect for me. And I really focus on networking more than anything, to be honest with you. And I get a lot of deals that way. Networking, 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 just tons of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that about, people saying, oh, it's too good to be true. I myself actually, I had to go through another mentorship to realize that was this one is the one. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not
Right.
like even to say the word mentorship, it's
Yeah.
almost devaluing it. It's not fair. It's
Yeah.
not fair to say mentorship. It's so much more than a mentorship, but you know,
Yeah, it's a community. That's what
yeah,
Pace always says.
it's
He's
a
like, oh, I
community.
cringe when people say mentorship.
Yeah. I mean, it's a community. It's a thousands of hours of vault of just anything you could imagine on real estate. It's a knowledge base of just so much. Like, yeah, it's just so much more. But
Yeah.
I'd love to something that I've found myself struggling with a little bit recently. And I think it's Pace that says it. Chase the relationship, not the deal.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you like to, you're networking with intention. I'm wondering if you can maybe unpack that a little bit and like what
Yeah.
that kind of means to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of like I touched a little bit before we started the recording it like when I get into like a live Zoom, for example, my intention is not to learn from that Zoom. Like there are going to be gold nuggets that you learn from whoever's doing the training, but my intention is always to make 3 or 4, maybe 5 solid connections while I'm on that Zoom in the live chat. So I'm going there intentionally with that in mind, right? So I'm going in, I'm offering as much, I'm on my phone usually when I'm on them, and I'm offering as much value as I possibly can to any newbies or just anybody who's looking to get into the area I'm in, as a connector. That's my main role. So I just pour in as much as I can, and I just keep putting comments in there, right? Because the more you comment and the more value you add to that Zoom, it doesn't matter what you do. Like people think they have to have all this real estate experience to add value. It's not the case, and I constantly tell people all the time, you have value, you have
Yeah.
strengths, your prior life experiences has given you that value, and that's what you add. It's not about business all the time. I mean, of course you want to know and learn, but mostly it's mindset stuff. So I love to just get in those chats and connect with people. I'll get 4 or 5 people typically who reach out to me, or I'll write their information down, and then intentionally I'll go in and connect with them on Messenger or on their, with their phone number, and set up something on my calendar. I do Zoom. I started off with Google Meets. It's free. Connected to your Google Calendar. You just hit the virtual meeting on the Google
Yeah, so
Calendar,
easy.
and so easy to get started. I didn't convert to Zoom probably till midway of the year last year because I was doing my podcast and I needed more memory and I needed, some things. But that's really what I'm talking about, being very intentional and not expecting the other person to connect with you. You have to take charge and get in there and make that connection happen.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
that's what I'm talking about.
So you're just so I'm clear and everybody else that might be listening is clear, my huge following that I have. You're not in there going, "Hey, I'm a Gator, send me your deals." You're in there going, "Oh, Colleen asked a question that I know the answer to, or may be able to point her in the right direction to," and you're gonna go, "Hey, Colleen, love to connect with you,"
Yeah.
so we can clarify that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And I'll
awesome.
do the other thing too. I'll be like, here's what I've done. Here's what I'm looking for. That also attracts certain people. So it is a good way to find
Okay.
potential deals.
Yeah.
But my main focus is adding value and trying to just kind of go along with the speaker and kind of add to what they're speaking, giving my life experiences and putting those in there.
Okay. Yeah, and
Yep.
so there's people in the Zoom that are actually paying attention to the chat are seeing, "Oh, here, Lance, there's Lance again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there he is
definitely.
again." Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Right.
that's what gets you to a point where Pace and his team go, "I think that this Lance guy knows about networking a little bit. Let's let him do one of these 12 days of
Yeah,
Christmas."
and Pace actually watches the Facebook pages. He'll scroll through and he'll watch,
Yeah.
he'll watch the comment section too. He just talked about it the other night. He's like, I'm watching you. I'm watching who's active in here. And I see the people who are in here offering help. And I'm like, man, that was pretty powerful. I don't do it for recognition, but it's cool to know that he's watching. And he had heard that I had done 60 deals in the Gator community last year. That's when he reached out to me. And I
Okay.
actually, he it was the first time that that he reached out to me. He wanted me to come on to a Gator training in the vault. So I'm in the vault now, right? In
Okay.
Kajabi. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool. That was the thing that scared the living shit out of me, right? Because I get a call an hour before the damn Zoom goes live, and Carly Grundeman, she's like, "Hey, Pace found out that you'd done 60 Gator deals. He wants you to come on today in like an hour." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like scared to death. I'm like, "Oh God," but you got to do it, man. Like, right? I'm like,
Oh
this is
yeah.
why I've been branding, like, for an opportunity like this to get in front of hundreds of people, even thousands. So
Yeah.
I jumped on. He interviewed me. I was on with Abraham Gray,
Wow.
and some other rock stars, and my wife popped on. We're solid partnership and teammates, and it was just such a blessing, man. And then it was like, I had people reaching out to me. "Well, bro, I saw you." My Facebook just blew up. My Messenger blew up, and it was just dope, man. And then I was asked to do. I had gone 2 other like little trainings like that, and then I was asked to be a speaker on the 12 Days of Christmas to talk about networking with intention. And
Yeah.
so for me, a big part of it, I tell my story when I get in, onto Zooms a lot. I tell people who I am, what I'm about, where I came from, kind of how I migrated throughout my life. And sometimes it's 10, 15, even 20 minutes. Sometimes I get a little carried away, but
Yeah.
here's the cool thing, bro. Like people know who I am by the end of that, Zoom, and
Yeah.
they're either aligned with me or they're not. And so, but yeah, that's kind
I
of how I
think,
roll.
yeah, it seems like that's the power of your intentions behind it is that you can be kind of unapologetically yourself, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you and I don't drive, okay, well, hey, it was a good conversation, or
Hmm.
maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we don't
Yeah.
have to work together. And we talked off camera, and I'd love to bring that up too. And I mentioned we're chasing the relationship first. I don't know if you're going to be a good fit for me as far as what your business model is and things, and you have no idea what my business model is yet, and if I'm going to be a good fit for you. But the first
Mhm.
thing we got to do is figure out, like, do I even think this guy's a good person, like, compared to
Yeah.
my values? Like, do
Right.
my values align with yours? And it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, and maybe I'm speaking now a little too long, but it's supposed to be you talking about.
No, you're on. You're
It
spot
doesn't have
on,
to be
bro.
like I believe in God and you don't. Like that doesn't, or I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat or whatever the
Right.
thing is. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. We don't have to talk about that stuff. But like,
Hmm.
are you trying to be better? Am I trying to do
Oh
better?
yeah. Yeah.
Or
That's it.
can we smile together? Like
That's it. I'm aligning myself with
yeah,
people who are on similar path or ahead of where I'm at. And
yeah,
that's really all I'm doing. I take action. I am a believer, but I don't push it on anybody. That's my own personal thing, man. And you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me if you are or not. If our goals and our vision is aligned, in business, then that's awesome.
yeah,
It's a bonus if you have, similar belief systems, but that doesn't mean it makes or breaks the deal, bro. Like that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like I don't judge people. It's not my job to judge anybody. It's not my job. I'm here doing my thing, man. And if I feel like we're aligning and we're on a common path, a similar path, then we can do business.
yeah,
I worked for a lot of years. I owned a granite and tile company in Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon, and I tell people all the time, anyone who walked into my showroom door was a customer, right? I didn't turn people down. I learned
yeah,
the hard way that I don't want to do business with everybody,
yeah, yeah,
and like now I get to pick and choose who I do business with, and it's really a huge blessing, man. I love it. I
yeah.
don't. I mean, and like Pace says, it's like I'll go on a date first. We'll do a little something, and if it goes good, cool. Then we can go on another date, and then maybe we'll get married down the road. You know what I mean? And have a
Yeah.
partnership. But I'm not just trying to get married, to
Right.
everybody. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's nice
that's
to be able to be a little choosy on who you do business with. If you don't
that
jive
dating
it, like
mentality
yeah,
comes up a lot. It's
yeah, dude.
we talk about that, or yeah, we've talked about that in the daily dials and the sales training too. Like
Uh-huh.
you don't just go in right away and say, "Hey, I want to buy your house subject too."
Yeah,
Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. You want me to sign
exactly.
just give you my social security and access to my bank information and this,
Right.
right? No, 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 chill,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
do you even want to sell this house first? Like let's start
Yeah.
there. But
Do I even
um
want this house too?
yeah,
Like, it's amazing when you have that posture, man, what happens. It's a
yeah,
whole different ball game when you have confidence and you have posture. You know what I mean? And you're
yeah.
going in, you're like, I don't even know if this deal works for me, but let's see how we can help each other out.
Yep.
Like let's see what we can do to help you. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man. I forgot where I was gonna. I just
No,
got a
yeah, that's
brain
all right.
fart. So
That happens. It
yeah,
sounds like
damn it.
you have what I've heard a lot about, and I did not have it, and it's something that I still struggle with. I'm not going to lie, a little bit is that abundance
Yeah,
mindset. Like,
yeah.
not everybody now that walks into your storeroom
Hmm.
needs to be a customer. I want
Yeah.
to find out if this person, like if my needs or if their wants and my needs, oh God, now I'm having the brain fart. We farted.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
you get what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it definitely sounds like you have that. You have an abundance mindset
Hmm.
and you're
Yeah.
putting yourself in positions to meet new people every single day and every single
Hmm.
Zoom that you go on.
Yeah.
And excuse me, that's that long COVID right there. Um,
Mm.
rolling up. But I wanted to, what kind of deals are you doing? You've done a lot of Gator deals, but I think through texting we talked about you're also buying and holding properties for yourself too. Like,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so last year we ended up closing on 45 doors. So it was our first year buying rental properties. We did fix and flips for about 8 years on the
Okay.
side of our business, right? So we built grit. We learned that grit. It's
Yeah.
so important to learn grit.
Yeah.
We built our character too. Like we did what we had to do for a while to better ourselves and to get into position to burn those ships. Like that's what we did a couple years ago. We sold everything, dude, and moved halfway across the country.
Yeah.
Um, so it's super important too. And see, this is one of those moments, and I forgot what your question was
Let's
because
see.
I,
What did I ask? Oh yeah, like well,
but
yeah. You 45 deals, 60 gator
thank you.
deals. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I circling back, I'm learning. I'm learning. So circling back, yeah, we closed on a mobile home park, was a seller finance deal. I brought a capital partner in, and we actually got paid $20,000 acquisition fee to close on that park, man. And
Okay.
that's something I learned from one of our amazing mentors, Vina Jetty, who we're actually good friends with now. But and then we did 5 sub 2 deals. We stopped 2 foreclosures last year, and we ended up we did one wholesale deal, and we picked up a midterm rental subject to, and then we picked up with some partners in New Jersey, picked up a luxury short-term rental in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So
Okay.
all
Yeah,
these
so
things we
all over
did
the
with
place.
partners and networking. I didn't
Yeah.
do any of it alone, man. Like that's the thing. When you really truly learn the value of partnerships and joining forces, you're going to do so much more, man. Like
Yeah.
that. It took me a while because I'm a lone wolf kind of. I built. I'm self-made, right? Not.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
always give credit, but I did a lot of that without any help.
Mm.
Of course, I had my team, my wife, but I wasn't really partnering up with other people. So it took me a little while to get into that mentality of to really understand how powerful that was. And look what happened. Like once I
Yeah.
really got it, about 2 3 months into the year last year, it just kind of just went nuts, man.
Yeah.
And
Snowballs.
yeah, it was
I
crazy, man.
this is like a lot of the stuff you're talking about right now are things that I still struggle with, and I'm sure that people out there are struggling with them too,
Yeah,
as why we bring them up. And
yeah,
it's for me it's maybe not so much of it's a little bit of a trust thing, like trusting the other person, but it's like
yeah.
I want to be able to have control of every little aspect of it. Just
Hmm.
a little bit of like maybe even though I'm not, I know for sure I'm not the best person for the job, but like
Yeah,
feels like I'm the best person
yeah.
for the job. Like that's why
Hmm.
I went direct to seller because I didn't want to have the
Yeah,
agent involved, right? And like,
same. Yeah,
that's why I like unless unless we're doing creative deals, I TC my own stuff. They're simple things like
yeah.
because I know I can have the control and I like if
Right.
there's an email that needs to go out, I can email it. I don't have to wait on
Hmm.
somebody else. How
Yeah.
did you said it was a couple months into the year last year. Like
Hmm.
what kind of got you over that hump of being able to, trust another person and say, give up, relinquish a little bit of the control, kind of
Yeah.
aspects.
A lot of it was just basically meeting new people and talking
Mhm.
to people and learning about what their journeys were and seeing how we aligned. So I started realizing, and just all the Zooms that Pace does, when when you get onto those trainings, even in the Zoom vault, he's constantly talking about it, squatting up, right? That's his term, squat up, squat up.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you hear all the time. Every single Zoom, you hear it. And it started making sense because I like to go to live meetups too. I went to some meetups in Dallas. We went to a meetup in New Orleans, to meet Pace. It's about 4.5 hours from us, so it was kind
Okay.
of cool.
Yeah.
Met Pace and Jamil for the first time there early last spring. And yeah, so for me it was like getting on the Zooms and seeing that I wasn't getting any results, bro. Like that was the biggest thing. Like
Mm.
I'm like, damn, I'm going at this kind of lone wolf in it, and I'm not seeing these results right away. One of my favorite sayings that Pace says is 50% of something's always better than 100% of nothing.
Yeah.
That started ringing in my head, and I was like, all right, I need to start letting go of some of the control and trusting some people. And that's why I say that you want to date first before you marry somebody, or before you get into bed with them, right?
Yeah.
Because you gotta feel out the situation, maybe a handful of 2 or 3 Zooms. But I mean, right now, bro, like because of everything I've done, branding on social media was a big part of it, and just some of this, whatever Pace kind of lifted me up a little bit last year. But like some of the opportunities right now are crazy, crazy, crazy. I never would have thought.
Mm.
Like for example, just last week. And I'm a capital raiser too. I don't think I told you that, but that's how I was able to be a connector. I'm really good at finding money, and
Okay.
I'm good at finding deals. And a lot of people are W-2 or they just don't have the time. So I started connecting those people, and that's how I was able to do all those deals.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, so gosh, dang it, man,
You were
bless
oh
America.
man, I had it too. I just lost it right as
So good. This was so good. Oh man.
there an opportunity just came your way recently.
Oh, thank you so
Yep.
much. Gosh,
Yep.
dang it.
I had it. It was tip
I
of the
gave you
tongue.
a warning, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't realize that's ADD until I
No.
read Rocket Fuel, by the way. But
Okay.
so yeah, bro. So I'm like, I'm capital raising it and I'm always looking for opportunities and I'm putting it out to the universe. I'm like, this is what I want.
Mm,
And I'm like doing affirmations and I'm just like speaking things into existence and thinking about these things constantly. And guess what? I start seeing them,
yeah.
the results and seeing things manifest in front of me. And so I got on a couple Zooms last week. Two separate partnerships asked me if I wanted to help raise a fund with them to do real estate deals. And
Uh-huh.
then 2 days after that, I got on a Zoom with a guy who was looking for capital for a wrap deal. And then he was like, "Hey, man, I started a fund and I'm raising funds for it." And I was just like, man, it's just crazy how opportunities open up. And then I was like, I got on a Zoom. All this happened last week too, bro. Like I'm expecting great things. That's the thing. Every day I wake up, I have a routine. We do our thing, we work out, we drink water, we stretch, we read, we journal. We set up our day intentionally to be successful.
Mm,
It's such a huge thing, right?
yeah.
Like, so this other call was a land deal, a $2 million land deal in Tennessee. And then the next day, dude, the next day, I get on a call with this other guy, and this is way out of my comfort zone, this type of stuff. I get on a call the next day with a guy who's developed multifamily apartment buildings, several of them with his own money. And this guy
Yeah.
sold a very successful business a handful of years ago and has a bunch of money. And I was like, "You're kidding me." So what did I do? I put the two together,
Yeah.
right? I connected those parties and I'm in it though. I put myself in with the Zoom. I didn't just go, "Hey, Harry, meet Sally," whatever. I was
Yeah.
just like, "Hey, let's get on a Zoom." And then who knows what's going to happen? Maybe
Yeah.
something awesome. Maybe I'll be able to get some equity in a 320 unit apartment building, bro, ground up build. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just adding my strength. So I'm not getting out of, I'm out of my comfort zone, out of my element. But what am I doing? I told one of the partners, he goes, "Well, what do you want out of this?" I said, I'd love to get some equity in this deal. I can help raise capital and I can connect. I can connect you with basically anybody. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just still focusing on my strengths, but just on a much higher level. But it's just crazy, dude. Stuff like that's been happening, because I'm looking for opportunity. So opportunity presents itself when you're looking and when you're confident, and you just
Yeah.
have the right mindset for bigger and better. So
Yeah.
I had to
It's
share
the
that with you.
well, and it's it reminds me of the kind, you're going to shop for a car and I want a Ford F-150 or whatever, even
Yes.
something more off the wall. And all of a sudden now I'm going to go start seeing Ford F-150s
Yeah.
every single place I look. It's
Yep.
because now my mind is in that space. I'm
Hmm.
starting to attract those things and those things are coming into my system. And
Yep.
now those F-150s have been there the whole time.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but now I'm aware of them and I'm my
Hmm.
conscious, my subconscious is there now going, hey, F-150,
Yeah.
F-150. And you're
Yep.
going, hey, this guy's a capital partner or this guy's got capital. I did
Yeah.
want to are you are you doing a lot of capital raising outside of the Zooms, inside of the Zooms, a combination? Like what does that look
Hmm.
like?
Yeah, so I'm starting to get out of our community quite, it's just easier. It's easier to find people who are happy with less returns. That's the
Hmm.
thing. People are spoiled in our
Yeah.
community, 20-30% returns.
Yeah.
But I actually was getting on Zooms with new gators and helping them, and I offer to help them, walk them through vetting, walk them through underwriting, walk them through negotiations on a deal, and we split the profits on it, and they get a huge value, right? We both get value out of it. We're training them, helping them, showing them what to look for so they can protect themselves down the road. This first deal we split, now you should know enough. Of course, they can hit me up anytime or my wife, but
Yeah.
now we're giving them the tools they need to succeed and to be careful and not get burned, and so that's really, really important to me. And it's something Pace like tells people all the time. Hey, go get with somebody who's more seasoned,
Yeah.
and they can walk you through it. You split the deal, that first deal with them, and that's what I was saying earlier, 50% of something is always better. But not
Yeah.
only that, but you're getting peace of mind and you're learning more than you ever will on your own. It's gonna take you 4 or 5 deals, possibly losing a bunch of money, to learn what we can help, teach you in that first deal. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
And
yeah.
I'm going through not the capital part, not a Gator lending part, but I'm going through something right now where I've been working with the seller who's in foreclosure for well, I say working with loosely, but 6 months now, and it's a short
Wow.
sale. I've never done a short sale
Oh
before, and so
wow.
like, what
Yeah.
am I like? Could I figure it out on my own? Probably, but like,
Hmm.
I want to do best by the seller. I want to make sure that they're taken
Yes.
care of, and
Yep.
if that means that I need to go reach out to somebody. I've
Hmm.
got plenty of people in sub two, and I actually just before we talked today, I got off the phone with, I'm not going to name names, but somebody
Yeah.
from sub two, and we were talking through it, and he goes, "Bro, I could help you here, I think, but I don't think I'm the best fit for you." And he turned me
Mhm.
on to somebody else. He's
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
I there's a lot of moving pieces, and I've only done a couple of these. I'm like, bro, that's what makes me want to work with you so bad, just because
Yes.
you're honest and like I'm
Yeah.
not the right fit. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm
Exactly.
gonna partner up with somebody because I gotta make sure that this gets taken care of, and I don't want to bungle it up. And like you're saying, I'd much rather have 50% or whatever it ends up being
Yeah.
of something than nothing. And I want to make sure that this guy doesn't get,
Yes.
end up going into bankruptcy to try to save his
Mhm.
motorcycle because that's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, he has
Right.
a
Well, dude.
motorcycle attached to it, and like I don't want to lose it because of this
Yeah.
foreclosure.
That's the thing. When your heart's in the right place. I'm reading this book or listening to this audio, Givers and Takers, right now, and it's
Okay.
really, really good, bro. Talks about the difference between givers and takers and people who are kind of neutral. But most of the world is comprised of givers and takers,
Yeah.
and it really hit me. Like I was referred by another sub two student, in fact, but one of the most powerful things so far that I learned from it was that the most successful people are givers in the world,
Mm.
and the least successful people are also givers.
Mm.
And that tripped me out. I was like, well, I was expecting to say takers, but
Yeah.
takers are typically tend to be in the middle.
Huh.
And here's why. Here's why that is. The author talks about the most successful givers in the world align themselves with other givers, and that's why they're the most successful. The least successful givers are aligning themselves with takers, and
Mm.
they just take, so they're just, they're not growing as much, and they're not making as much money for obvious
Yeah.
reasons, right? And I was just tripping on that because I started seeing all these takers that I've met over the course of the last year, and I'm recognizing a lot of people who use the I statement more than we
Mm.
did this, that's me all day long, brother.
Yeah.
We did this. I'm
Yeah.
always giving my wife credit, my team,
Yeah.
like credit. And that's how you can really recognize a taker, is when they're like, I did this, I did that, me,
Yeah.
look at me, and it's
Oh,
like,
you're making
man,
me feel like a taker right now. Well, and it's funny I'm glad you brought this back around because you have said we a handful of times, and if I'm understanding correctly, which I think I am, because I'm the smartest guy around. We is not just you and your team when you're referring to we, right? You're referring to your
right.
wife and we don't
Yeah.
need to get into the weeds of the team, but you're also referring to all these other people that you've partnered up with.
Yeah,
So yeah, we is
absolutely. Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I have partners all over the country. That's the
Yeah.
other cool thing about what we're doing
Yeah.
now is I have relationships with people all over the country that I've never even met in
Yeah.
person, dude. It's
Yeah.
wild.
It's
It's
so
just such a
crazy.
cool adventure, man.
Yeah.
I have this
What?
plaque in my living room, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
I have to tell you about this cool plaque because we were like slaves to our business for a lot of years. We were working 14 plus hours a day, with our granite, and then they're flipping on the side. We moved here to East Texas to be closer to family and to live that lifestyle that we really loved, where we could go play with our dog when we want. We have
Mm.
beautiful property. We have the most beautiful sunsets, sunrises here. We're just surrounded by farm country. And it was good for a time, right? We're probably ready to get back closer to the city soon. But the cool thing is, we really just felt just at peace here, right? We
Mm.
felt like we want to grind, but then we want to unplug and we can go out back and it's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
there's no noise, there's no racket, birds, all kinds of just beautiful scenery, bro. And so I got this plaque at like Hobby Lobby, I think, early last year, and it just sits in our in between our dining room and our living room, and it says, "And so together they built a life that they loved." You
Mm,
know, for me, like the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to be closer to my family, my wife, my kids. I want to be able to have control of my time and my finances, you know.
yeah.
So that really drives me, man. And I almost lost it a few years ago. I was so focused on my success and my businesses that I lost focus of my
Mm,
why for a little while, and I almost lost my wife because of it. She left.
mhm.
She actually ended up leaving me for a while, and I fought for her, man, with every ounce of my being, and I fortunately was very blessed to get win her heart back. But it was a fight, bro.
Mm.
It was some deep, deep stuff. I'm actually writing a book right now about all that stuff I went through. It took me 6 months.
Mm.
But dude, I ended up winning her back, man, and now we're going on 25 years together now, and I just couldn't let her go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not one of those people. I'm not a quitter, dude. Like
Yeah.
until I know I'm defeated, I'm on the floor getting kicked in my face before I realize, okay, maybe it's time
Yeah.
to let go. But it was just a wild journey, and we just wanted to just experience something new, and that's kind of what brought us, you know, took us out of Oregon, man. So
Yeah.
but that's the thing. You can do whatever you put your mind to, man. That's the thing. I preach that every day to people. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, you and I catch people with that mindset, and it's all mindset shifts, really, is all it is. It's really not, it's like these little incremental steps and habits that you form on a daily basis
Hmm.
that kind of helps you change your trajectory. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like this huge thing that people think, oh, they just look at the big picture and they go, oh my God, it's so much, you
Yeah.
know. And you and I know, like
Um,
when you start learning how to set goals and how to put plans of action together, you're working backwards and figuring out, what do I have to do today to get me to that goal? Like,
yeah.
what are the habits I need to create for myself to be successful, to get what I'm looking to get, you know? And those are the things that are really powerful, and I love to share with people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you don't have to eat the whole, what is it? The pace does the elephant challenge. Like
yeah.
you don't eat the whole elephant. You just
Yeah.
gotta take one bite at a time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, one little step
exactly.
at a time. Yeah, well,
Yeah, man.
I did say I promised you I wanted to keep this to like 30, 40 minutes. I think we're coming up on
Yep.
that, man. Um,
Sounds
I
good.
have a couple of like little questions for you. You mentioned givers and takers as a, I think you said as an audiobook, probably a hard copy
Yes.
too. Are there any
Yeah.
other books that have kind of inspired you, or even
Yeah.
podcasts,
Yes.
documentaries, anything like that that we can
Oh yeah.
share?
Oh yeah. Um,
Oh yeah, he's got
yeah,
the
so
list
one of
going.
them, I'm looking at Audible, but I actually don't even need to. It's called So Give and Take. Adam Grant is the author of that one.
Not
I'm in
givers
it
and
right.
takers.
No, Give and Take.
Okay.
Sorry. It's
Okay.
called Give
No,
and
cool. Yeah.
Take. Yeah, so I didn't I'm into that one right now. So I usually listen to audio when I'm at the gym working out.
Okay.
But one of the most powerful, impactful books, well, Robert Kiyosaki, of course, right? Everybody says that. Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was the like the turning point 20 years ago.
Mm.
But in the recent years with my wife, everything my wife and I went through, How to Listen with Intention, that book, I don't remember the author, but you can find it on Audible.
Yep.
That book changed my life, man. I listened to it 5 times, and I really learned how to listen and communicate with her and
Okay.
ask her questions and draw things out of her. Um, the other book I read while I read a physical copy was called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That
Hmm.
was a life-changing book, bro. Whoa.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was so focused on the future,
Mm.
and it was a little out of my comfort zone because it started off a little kind of woo-woo,
Woo
and I
woo.
was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm jiving. But then I just was like, you know, let me see what this guy's about. Whoa.
Yeah.
The subconscious, conscious mind, learning how to control your thoughts, living in the moment,
Mm.
enjoying the journey. That stuff all was like, wow, I've really been
Yeah.
missing out on a
Yeah.
lot of life.
Yeah.
So those are
That's
some
when
huge
I need to
impacts.
revisit that one, I think. There's
Yeah.
one like little line in there, and I don't remember what exactly it is, but it comes up to me when I'm waiting in lines a lot. And I notice constantly now, like, 95 or plus percent of the people when they're sitting anywhere waiting for anything are just
Yeah.
like, and he mentioned
Yeah.
like, I think he's like at a bank in a bank line, and he's just standing there like, I'm just enjoying the now because you can enjoy
Yeah.
the now anywhere doing anything. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
the last thing I have for you, Lance, is I know you got your phone number down there. That's probably maybe the best way to reach you. What other avenues would you?
Instagram and Facebook would be the
Okay.
best. Yeah.
I will link. I have both of those. I think we're friends on, or whatever you follow.
Mine's super easy too, bro. It's at Lance Riggen on
Yeah.
Instagram and is Lance Riggen, right?
Yep. I will link them in the description. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
Hell
It's been a
yeah.
pleasure, brother.
Yeah, same, man. I appreciate you.
Any parting words?
Yeah. If you just if you just stick with it and don't give up, man, just keep going a little bit every day. A little bit every day is all you need. It doesn't have to be this massive thing. Just don't quit and you'll make it. You'll
Yeah.
make it happen. It's all up to you. If you just stop getting out of your own way, great things can happen for you, you
Yeah.
know?
And
So
you don't like,
that's it.
if there's one thing that we can take away from this is you definitely don't have to have all the answers.
No.
Um,
Coming
you,
from a high school dropout, my friend. Like I
yeah.
didn't even finish high school, dude.
Yeah,
Like
gosh.
if I can do it, you can do it. Like
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite testimonies to give. And I'm not like it's not like I'm proud or not proud, but it's something that I love to tell people so it can give them hope, you
Yeah.
know.
Because
So
yeah, because if we can do it, I mean,
mhm.
we're definitely not the sharpest knives in the box. We're the
Right,
brightest bulbs in
exactly.
the, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's been a
exactly.
pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Take care, bro.
You too.